I got the package. The beautiful Amanita book. Being the One Magical Grimoire of the true tale behind all mushrooms and their empress. Now told for the first time. Warning, contains many a secret of many a brew. Spoiler alert. All meticulously word woven by hand by an artisan poet. Do not try at home. Might contain salacious tales and banter. Yet be warned, for these tales are not for the weak of heart or the timid of spirit. Verily, they are fraught with riddles, romance, and ribaldry, of perilous quests and deeds most doughty. Forsooth, within these vellum leaves lie an eldritch compendium of immaculate lore and a magnificent fabled codex. Introduction by the author. This book celebrates the Empress of Mushrooms, Amanita Muscaria, a constant companion of mankind throughout our evolution. However, just 1,000 years ago, a certain group decided that its influence was unwelcome and banned it from the human diet, rather than acknowledge the natural world as a sacred presence. And if the aim is to monopolize the narrative, then banning wild mushrooms would indeed be a clever strategy. Well, that is exactly what happened. The physical and mental effects of this sudden loss of a third of our species' nutrients can only be devastating. Eating wild mushrooms requires heightened awareness, for it ensures that those with poor observation skills or excessive greed are weeded out by natural selection. Removing mushrooms from our diet reverses this effect, leading to a genetic degradation in which the human species becomes increasingly lethargic, slow-witted, and ultimately sensory and nervously desensitized. I realized the mushroom is right. This can't be its real story. So I started to write it, slowly, through a COVID-locked Europe, traversing 25 borders, unvaccinated, which in some places would lead to Kafkaesque scenes. I wrote most of the first chapter in a run-down Serbian Grand Hotel, full of chain-smoking Serbian psychoanalysts. Even though these specifics might be considered redundant, they enrich the mood the book conveys and are indispensable for breathing life into the narrative. Books have rights too. I worked on this book for 2 years, on and off, and while I was writing, the ideas started to build up. Benders, this is not just one book. You are actually writing 4 books about mushrooms at the same time. For heaven's sake, concentrate on this book first. The Book of the Empress. The Empress is the Great Mother, Mother Earth, the Universal Mother, the Eternal Mother, the Goddess of Love, Beauty, Abundance, and Creative Power. The Empress is passionate and sensual. She bears life. She is the feminine creator manifesting nature's magic in the physical world. She combines love with wisdom. Her astrological aspect is Venus, the wishing star, symbolizing emotions, love, passion, imagination, the arts, and music. The Empress rules from the heart, passions, desires. Her color is green, symbolizing healing love and creativity. Her number is 3, the number of conception, manifestation, and new beginnings. She is the combination of the magician, the masculine aspect, self-consciousness, activeness, and the High Priestess, the feminine aspect, subconsciousness, emotions, and instinct. This combination brings together opposites into a wholeness or balance, bringing forth new ideas and forms into the world, thus creation. The Empress is nature, fertility, birth, motherhood, nurturing, harmony, and sensuality. She signifies the importance of living in harmony with our earth and its creatures, awakening one's inherent feelings between earth and the self. She is cyclic like nature, representing the process of renewal. Through her, life force is burst into the world of form. The Empress is the revolving door of creation and manifestation. All living creations spring forth from her and return to her. The Empress' message is to love and understand yourself and those around you. Open up your heart, live and make your choices in life with love in your heart. Honor and live your heartfelt desires. They will guide you to a full and abundant life. Honor nature. Bring more of it into your life. Throughout the previous year, I have been diligently crafting this book, which sprung forth from the well of my dreams. Books, in essence, are the manifestations of our innermost dreams. I contemplated the ideal book that would captivate me and worked hard to breathe life into it, to create the sort of book I would like to read myself. What is the power of literature? To create books you didn't know you want to read. Shyness. Russians don't have many mental illnesses. They clean their bottoms with the whole spectrum of the DSM during an ice bath in the tundra. But there is one mental illness that they do recognize and traditionally treat with Amanita muscaria. Can you guess what it is? Oh yes, shyness. Shyness can stop you from doing all the things in life that you'd like to do. Adolescence is a critical period of human development, marked by rapid physical, emotional, and psychological changes. Adolescents are tasked with navigating a newfound sense of self-identity while facing the pressures of societal norms, peer acceptance, and self-worth. Shyness, if exacerbated during this time, can exacerbate existing vulnerabilities and contribute to the onset of mental health problems. First, shyness can lead to social isolation, as the individual may avoid engaging in social activities for fear of rejection or judgment. This isolation can in turn lead to loneliness and feelings of alienation, predisposing the individual to depression and anxiety disorders. Amanita and social anxiety. Historically, the Russians have used Amanita muscaria as a treatment for adolescents, recognizing the potential of its compounds, muscimol and ibotenic acid, to alleviate social anxiety by promoting assertiveness. Social anxiety often arises from the fear of negative evaluation or rejection, resulting in avoidance of social situations and reduced self-esteem. Muscimol's interaction with GABA-A receptors may help to balance the overactive excitatory response in the brain, often associated with anxiety. By stabilizing neural activity, individuals may experience an increased sense of calm and self-confidence, thereby reducing social anxiety. People with anxiety are often prescribed the highly addictive and dangerous benzodiazepines by today's medical industry. Dangerous because the withdrawal symptoms of some benzos can be deadly in themselves, and trying to get off of them the wrong way, cold turkey, can lead to heart attacks and brain zaps. And all this while Amanita muscaria is a natural remedy for anxiety that is not directly addictive, although habituation can occur. But I have used it for years, on and off, and have never experienced any withdrawal symptoms. It simply has no withdrawal symptoms. This is because muscimol replaces GABA rather than playing with it. Because benzodiazepines, like alcohol, and other GABA drugs, like phenibut, play with the GABA receptors in different ways. This kind of playing leads to addiction and, if you're unlucky, impairment. Muscimol, on the other hand, replaces the GABA entirely, so the substance simply cannot be addictive. If there is no more muscimol, then GABA quietly takes its place again.
It's not that a macrodose or a hero's journey doesn't give you some insight. Masha says that they potentially give you some insight as well.
Amanita brings you there, but I always give description like when you take, let's say, magic mushroom, it's like you driving to Los Angeles through Malibu on nice Mercedes, and when you take Amanita, you go to Los Angeles underground, and you have to chew the ground with your teeth. The result is the same, but the price for it is very different.
I don't discuss Amanita muscaria for using for psychedelic trips. It's very dangerous. With the psychedelic mushrooms, there is only one psychedelic agent, and we know exactly what could be if you take 1 gram, 3 grams, or 5, right? With Amanita, yes, with Amanita muscaria, there is no dose you can rely on. Some people can take 5-7 grams and go, phew. Some people can take 20, 25, nothing happened. I collected over 12,000 cases of taking Amanita muscaria in different doses from 0.1 gram to 50 grams. Nobody died, but we all had different experience. It's very tricky mushroom because let's say if you took 10 grams, nothing, 15 grams, nothing, 20 grams, nothing. And then over 2-3 months, you took 10 grams, you're gone. And it's not about die because you get poisoned, loaded with chemicals, overdosed, and died. No. The problem is Amanita muscaria is dissociative. There is a certain dose in individual for every person when body and mind got disconnected, and while the person is tripping somewhere in our worlds.
And you don't know or don't remember because you are actually in a very deep dream state. Later on, you might have glimpses, but a very big part you just will not remember. That's like having amnesia in a drunken state.
The body becomes extremely aggressive toward itself. People start hitting their heads about walls, they start jumping out of the windows because they totally not connected to their minds. There is no logic. Thinking the person is absent, it doesn't matter if you have theater or group of people, you behave like totally wild animal, totally uncontrollable.
I firmly believe that everyone should be introduced to the Empress mushroom, Amanita muscaria, not for the purpose of inducing hallucinations, as this mushroom is neither psychedelic nor deliriant, as I will demonstrate in this book. Rather, I believe it is essential for individuals to become familiar with it, as it interacts with a network of ancient receptors in the human body. I also believe that the consumption of large quantities of Amanita muscaria should be reserved for those on the path of shaman, bruja, sorcerer, warlock, or witch, whichever label you prefer. Never forget that this mushroom is a portal to other dimensions, and the beings within are not there to relieve your boredom. While Amanita muscaria has medicinal uses in small doses, it is not a panacea for all of life's ills. The idea that it is the perfect everyday psychiatric pill is a pathological way of dealing with energy.